Welcome to the program, friend. We are going to look yet again at more clips from the Republican debate because it was educational, it was somewhat entertaining, and we're probably looking at the next president of the United States. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Welcome to the program, friend. It's easy, it's just too easy for people in America, myself included, to be armchair quarterbacks. I can just sit here and I can tell you what I think about what those Republican candidates did on stage and who muffed it and who missed their line and who looks nervous. Look, I'm not up there. You're not up there. So one of the reasons that I play such long clips when something like this happens is because I get sick. I mean, like, oh, had it right to here. I get sick of pontificators on TV or the radio for that matter who play a little 12-second soundbite and then go on and on and on. You know, if I hear one more person say a negative syllable about Ted Cruz and forgetting the Department of Education and saying the Department of Commerce twice, I'm going to, and I quote somebody from one of Hillary's meetings, I'm going to reach through the TV screen and I'm going to strangle them. I don't know if you caught that, the double standard. Hillary had someone in her meeting that said that they wanted to reach through the screen, and I think it was strangle Carly Fiorina. And Hillary laughing, and everyone in the crowd laughing. And imagine if Donald Trump said that. He wanted to reach through the TV screen and strangle Hillary. I can think, it was either Rush or Sean, I can thank for pointing that out. Anyway, back on point. We're going to play some nice long clips from the debate. If you saw the debate, hopefully you'll stay with me because it's worth seeing these clips again. And hopefully I'll bring something to the table that is of interest to you or is entertaining. Let us watch the... Okay, so we're... illegal immigration and what we do with illegal immigrants played a very large role. And by the way, kudos to Fox Business Channel. In my opinion, it was the best debate yet. And they were professional questions. The folks over at NBC and CNBC should be embarrassed, ashamed. They should recognize, wow, they were taken to school. This is how a substantive debate happens. And they went at each other. If you saw it, there was clashes going on, but it was clashes over substance, over what we're going to do. And oh, how many debates have the Democrats had so far? The Republicans have had 4. How many have the Democrats had? 1. Because we have to protect Hillary. We don't want her on this stage too much with angry white men. Or the old curmudgeon. He's scary. Let's roll tape. Let's show our good friend Ted Cruz talking about illegal immigration.
Now, I want to go back to the discussion we had a minute ago because, you know, what was said was right. The Democrats are laughing. Because if Republicans join Democrats as the party of amnesty, we will lose. And I will say the politics of it would be very, very different if a bunch of lawyers or bankers were crossing the Rio Grande. Or if a bunch of people with journalism degrees were coming over and driving down the wages in the press. And I will say for those of us who believe people ought to come to this country legally and we should enforce the law, we're tired of being told it's anti-immigrant. It's offensive. I am the son of an immigrant who came legally from Cuba to seek the American dream.
All right. We're not anti-immigrant. We're just not. Those of us who are concerned about maintaining our borders, we are not anti-immigrant. We're pro-immigrant, but we're also pro-law. We have to be able to maintain our own borders. And his mockery of the press was genius. We go over this repeatedly. Just remember, folks, everyone brings a belief set to the table. Everyone does. And when we watch something, when we see something happening, it often will go through that filter. So if we see people, if you're really into the 10 Commandments and you believe in them, and you see somebody doing something that is against those, and it grieves you and you say, that person was doing this, you're looking at it through your filter. That's why it is so critical to understand what a reporter believes, because it will impact how they report something. And if there were a whole bunch of reporters coming over the Rio Grande and driving down the wages of the folks at CNBC or the Wall Street Journal or any place, you better believe that the reporters would be saying, hey, we've got an illegal immigration problem. They're destroying our jobs. They're destroying our families. They're destroying our net worth. They're taking away jobs that we should have. Oh, the sky is falling. Thanks to friends like you, we have state-of-the-art cameras and state-of-the-art teleprompters and state-of-the-art gear here in the studio. We have one big need, however. We have not yet been able to upgrade our computers. The computers that we use for a television broadcast or to create a documentary are not like the kind that you can just go buy at Best Buy. They are expensive because it takes so much horsepower to create TV series and or documentaries. So I'm asking you, if you want to see this show grow and you want to see us finish the What Would Mohamed Do series, help us get these computers. 3 computers that we need right now are going to be just shy of $20,000. That's the kind of horsepower that we need. Go to the GoFundMe page you see right there, watch the pilot for What Would Mohamed Do, and if you like the show, give us a gift. Donald Trump had a good moment in foreign policy, at least according to this host, and it was when he was asked a question about Russia. I think that there's going to be a little problem that he gets out of this, but let's show the clip.
Mr. Trump, in a 2012 debate, President Obama mocked Mitt Romney's assertion that Russia was the top geopolitical challenge facing the United States. You have said you will have a good relationship with Mr. Putin. So what does President Trump do in response to Russia's aggression?
Well, first of all, it's not only Russia. We have problems with North Korea where they actually have nuclear weapons. We talk about Iran, and that's one of the worst deals ever made, one of the worst contracts ever signed, ever in anything. China is a problem, both economically and what they're doing in the South China Sea. As far as Syria, I like if Putin wants to go in, and I got to know him very well because we were both on 60 Minutes. We were stablemates, and we did very well that night. If Putin wants to go and knock the hell out of ISIS, I am all for it 100%, and I can't understand how anybody would be against it. They blew up, hold it, they blew up, wait a minute, they blew up a Russian airplane. He cannot be in love with these people.
All right, so the question that people are going to ask is, when did he have time with Putin? Was it in an earbud? Were they talking to each other? Were they in the same room? I don't know how this is all going to wash out, but I have a feeling that they were somehow talking to each other via satellite. I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know if it was a green room. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. But anyway, we have a crisis with international leadership that's our problem. It's not Russia's fault. I mean, he said, how are you going to deal with Russian aggression? The Russians want to destroy ISIS. Why don't we ask the question, how are you going to deal with American inaction? Okay? So I concur. If Russia wants to go in there and just pound the snot out of ISIS and destroy them, we're not doing it. And Russia has suffered terribly with terrorist attacks coming from Muslims. And the Muslims over centuries have done great harm to huge swaths of the Orthodox Church, okay? Those of us in the West think in terms of Catholic Church or Reformation, okay? That's not the East. The East is the Orthodox Church. And the Orthodox Church has suffered unthinkable brutality at the hands of Islam and devout Muslims. So like ISIS. ISIS is made up of devout Muslims. Don't kid yourself. So I have to say, I'm with Trump on this one. If Putin is going to go in there and pound the snot out of ISIS, I'm for it. And Trump's other assertion is absolutely correct. Look at what has happened in Libya. We helped take Gaddafi out. And now, who's in control? ISIS or people that are affiliated and aligned with ISIS. And we saw what happened at Benghazi. So, friends, Islamic terrorism or devout Islam, whichever phrase you want to use, is an existential threat to us. That means it threatens our existence, okay? It's an existential threat to the Church of Jesus Christ. And if Obama is going to sit back and let ISIS do what it's doing, then we deserve the fact that Russia's going in there. And I'll say finally, Trump was absolutely right. I've never heard him say it, but I've said it on this show many times that we should have taken the oil. We should have taken the oil. We made it a point of pride that we were going in and liberating all of these oil fields and paying $2 trillion of our own money. If we'd have just pumped a little bit of oil, it wouldn't have been a great amount of oil. We could have paid for our expenses for being there. And I don't think it's unjust. And I don't care that they would have said, well, America went in there for oil. And we make a lot of our decisions. Our relationship with Saudi Arabia, one of the most oppressive, godless regimes that the world has ever seen. Our relationship with them is based upon oil. So let them accuse us. We went in, we tried to take down a tyrant, we tried to do nation building, which all was stupid, but at the end of the day, we should have taken the oil, and that's what Trump is saying he's going to do. He's going to knock out ISIS, and he's going to get that oil. Christians must be involved in government, period. If Christians weren't involved in government, we would not have a United States of America. And there have been brilliant Christian minds over the centuries, such as John Locke, who is called the philosopher of American liberty. He was quoted by Clarence Thomas in his recent dissent on the homosexual marriage decision. If we don't understand John Locke, we don't understand the founding of America. I want to send you this book and my book, The Sword, subtitled The Blessing of Righteous Government and The Overthrow of Tyrants. I want to send you these two books for a gift of whatever you can afford. Pay the $8 shipping and handling, which does not cover our costs, and then give a gift of whatever size you want, and we'll send you these books. If you cannot afford anything but the $8, can't even afford that, write us a note, and we'll send them to you for free. I want you to have these books so that you can be better equipped to fight in the political arena. Come on, order them today. Welcome back, friend. Hope you're enjoying the program. If you just joined us, I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. Here comes a nice exchange between former Governor Bush and Donald Trump, the Republican frontrunner, again regarding ISIS and foreign policy.
He's going in, and we can go in, and everybody should go.
Donald is wrong on this. He is absolutely wrong on this. We're not going to be the world's policeman, but we sure as heck better be the world's leader. And the idea that it's a good idea for Putin to be in Syria, let ISIS take out Assad, and then Putin will take out ISIS. I mean, that's like a board game. That's like playing Monopoly or something. That's not how the real world works.
Assad is a bad guy, but we have no idea who the so-called rebels, I read about the rebels, nobody even knows who they are. They may be far worse than Assad. Look at Libya, look at Iraq, look at the mess we have after spending $2 trillion, thousands of lives, wounded warriors all over the place who I love, okay, all over. We have nothing. And I said, keep the oil.
Now, again, there's the clip where Trump says, you know, we spent $2 trillion, what do we have out of it? Let them knock the heck out of them. And I was actually perplexed by what Bush said. This isn't a board game? Well, as a matter of fact, it isn't a board game, but it is how foreign relations work. All you have to do is look at the Vietnamese War, for example. or other conflicts that the U.S. has been involved in. That was called a proxy war, okay? Where Russia and America were at war with each other, backing different sides, seeing how our equipment ran, and stepping back and seeing who fights who and how it can help our geopolitical goals. Yeah, that is a part of how it works, Mr. Bush. And so, listen, the Russians just had an airliner shot down, bombed out of the sky by Muslim terrorists, okay? They had hundreds of kids killed at a school by Muslim terrorists. And ISIS needs to be wiped off the face of the map. They all need to be killed. They all need to be dead. Send them on to their maker, okay? Send them on to their maker and let him bring the final judgment. That's what needs to happen. And if Russia is going to do it and we're going to sit back, as I said in the last segment, then we deserve it. But at least ISIS is being truly attacked. And again, I concur with Trump. Assad is a bad guy, but Assad lets the church stay open, lets churches in Syria stay open. Who do you think our Christian brothers and sisters would fare better under? Assad or ISIS? Let's look at what ISIS is doing to churches in portions of Syria that they control or in the portions of Iraq that they control. They are killing the Christians. They are destroying the churches. They're blowing them up. They're burning them down. They're taking Christian women as sex slaves. So you better believe that if Putin is going to destroy ISIS, that I am going to cheer what Putin and Russia are doing, because it's what we should have been doing. And at the end of the day, it will probably help our Christian brothers and sisters there much more than anything that Bush would be proposing. All right, we got to take a break time. All right, we're going to take a break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about this concept of the no-fly zone, because there's some people, thank heaven for Rand Paul that he made sense. You're going to want to stay with me and watch this clip. I'll be right back. Friend, this TV show represents a mission. It's to be a voice of resistance to the evil in the land, but also to inspire people like you to take a stand at any level that you might be able to equip you, to inspire you, to challenge you, to give you the rhetorical ammunition that you need. But we still have to pay bills. This program, as you know if you're a regular viewer, we don't spend a lot of time raising money. We don't spend a lot of time saying, oh, you need to buy this and we're going to run. No, we're bringing you a message, but we still have bills that we need to pay. I'm asking you, if you have been blessed by this show, to please go to our website or send a check to the address you see on the screen or call the phone number that you see on the screen and use your credit card, and to give $50 or $100 or $500 just to help us meet our normal expenses. And we'll keep bringing you this hard-hitting show. Foreign relations, foreign policy, it's important. It really is important to all of us, whether we know it or not, whether we think about it or not. Whether it comes to the economy or it comes to the military, it's critical. And we have a duty as Christians to remember our brothers and sisters who are suffering. That's what the writer of Hebrews said. Remember those in jail as if, in bonds, it says, and remember those in bonds as if suffering with them. So our Christian brothers and sisters in portions of Syria and Iraq are in bonds, and we need to remember them as if we were suffering with them. So somebody has the crazy idea of having a no-fly zone that would involve areas where Russia is flying. Let's watch this clip, and then we'll talk Turkey.
You know, Mr. Trump fancies himself a very good negotiator.
And I accept that he's done a lot of good deals. So Mr. Trump ought to know that we should not speak to people from a position of weakness. One of the reasons I've said that I would not be talking to Vladimir Putin right now, although I have met him as well, not in a green room for a show, but in a private meeting. Governor Bush is correct. We must have a no-fly zone in Syria because Russia cannot tell the United States of America where and when to fly our planes. We also have a set of allies.
The idea of a no-fly zone, realize that this is also something Hillary Clinton agrees with several on our side with. You're asking for a no-fly zone in an area in which Russia already flies. So when you think it's going to be a good idea to have a no-fly zone over Iraq, realize that means you are saying we are going to shoot down Russian planes. If you're ready for that, be ready to send your sons and daughters to another war in Iraq. I don't want to see that happen.
Rand Paul got it right. Rand Paul got it right. I mean, are you actually saying that the U.S., who has not done its job to take out ISIS, that we should say to Russia, don't fly your planes over here anymore. If you do, we're going to shoot them down. It's so ludicrous. It's so ludicrous. Obama's not going to do it. And no Republican taking the White House, if a year plus 3 months, whenever someone swears the oath of office, if a year and 3 months from now there is a Republican who takes the office, and for some reason Russia is still pounding away at ISIS, which I can't imagine happening, does anyone think that the American president is going to come in and say, we are now ordering you to stop flying over this area or we're going to shoot your planes out of the sky? Does anyone think that we're going to start World War III over Russia flying planes? No. What we need to do, in my opinion, is we need to arm the civilians. Arm the civilians. Arm the Christian civilians. We can figure out where they are. We know where they are. We could create large swaths where we say we're going to arm all these people and we are not going to let ISIS come anywhere near them, and we'll have a no-fly zone over this area. And if we see any movement from ISIS, we will blow them off the map, okay? That's something that we could do. Randall, do you actually mean that you would like to arm the civilians of Syria? Well, as a matter of fact, I mean every syllable, because we have in America because civilians were armed, okay? The American Revolution was fought and won not by a professional soldiery. It was fought and won by farmers, by artisans, by craftsmen, okay? By civilians. So yes, I want to let these people be able to defend themselves, because as long as ISIS is, and by the way, ISIS is made up largely of cowards. We've seen now that when their lives are really in danger, they're not so ready to go meet Allah and have their blood running in his presence as it smells like musk, as Mohamed taught them that it would happen. It won't happen. Aren't they in for a rude awakening when they wake up in a very hot place? So I lost my train of thought. Just the happiness, the thought of them. I have to, can I go on a quick rabbit trail? I'm going to go, all right, quick rabbit trail. Did you know that Muslims believe that Mohammed did not have a shadow? I'm not making this up. They believe that that God made Mohammed out of pure light. And so whether at night or in the day, that Mohammed did not cast a shadow. Do you realize how satanic that is? Jesus is the light of the world. So if you look at so much of the construct of Islam, it's a kind of a cheap imitation of Christianity on some levels. But to say that Mohammed did not cast a shadow and to believe it is so, it's not only absurd, but it's blasphemous, because it's a satanic echo of Jesus Christ being the light of the world. And by the way, Jesus cast a shadow, okay? He was fully God and fully man, all right? And that's why he cast a shadow. Muhammad wasn't made of light. I'm out of time. Hope you enjoyed the show. Check us out on our website.
Ronald Reagan was strong, but Ronald Reagan didn't.
And Ronald Reagan walked away at Reykjavik. He walked away. He quit talking when it was time to quit talking.
Can I finish with my time?
Why does she keep interrupting everybody?
Yeah.
Boy.